Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the carbon fiber shot tubes that I offer up on the eBay store. And these shot tubes can be had for the Daisy Springers, and the models that I carry are for the 105B Buck, the Model 25, and the 1938B Red Ryder. And the Red Ryder can also fit, the 1999 models as well. But before we get to installing our shot tube as a standalone mod inside of this 1938B Red Ryder, we need to address the BBfeeder assembly. Now I've already went ahead and done this mod, so I can't show you how to do it, but I'll tell you how to do it. To start off with, whenever you pull your BBfeeder assembly out, you'll find that the Chinesium on bottom, the top plastic cap is pressed down on here, and the stamp studs are left on top, and they have a nice deep dimple right in the middle. And what you'd want to do is you need to start with a 1/16 inch drill bit and center it and let the drill do the walking. Let the drill bit do all the work. Go all the way down through it, and then you have your center holes established. Whenever that's done, you'll come in with a 3/32 drill bit to oversize that. You probably wouldn't have much of a problem with it walking out if you let the drill bit do its job. If you do that and you get it out of the way, then you can move on to the next process, and that's just running these fine machine screws that you've got down in through here on this BBfeeder assembly. These are really tiny screws, and you can come up with any type of a tiny screw out of like any junk item, discarded item. They're plentiful out there. All you gotta do is just take something apart that's broken and you can find them. And it's such a small screw and a small hole that they're super easy to self-thread. You don't have to get a self-tapping screw. You don't have to run a tap through this weak metal. I'm not sure what this is. It's not aluminum, it's a cast. So I just call it what it is. It's Chinesium. As an OEM unit, this stamped BBfeeder assembly really is what holds the Daisies back as far as having a fully entirable, serviceable rifle. It's permanently press stamped, and that's just all there is to it. So if you do this mod, you're truly going to unlock everything within your Daisy gun. If you do opt in for a carbon fiber shot tube and you're not really into, taking it apart over and over, testing different things out, you're not really going to continually mod it. Another thing you could do is after you run your 3/32 drill bit, you can oversize it to an 1/8 inch. And yeah, the walls are kind of thin on the side of the bottom metal, the metal bottom. But with the 1/8 inch hole, you can just go ahead and pop rivet this all back into place, and you'd never have to fiddle faddle with it again. Now that this little mod's out of the way, let's just go ahead and take it apart, and we'll reinstall our carbon fiber shot tube. And like I said before, it's just going to be a standalone mod. There's not going to be anything done to the compression spring assembly. It's going to be all back as OEM, aside from this assembly here. There's our little magnet that holds the BB on the bottom. And we'll just come up in here and take a glance at the bedding. You'll notice the hole, and you'll notice the little divot, and that's what that has to fit in to lock itself in place. And that's what keeps it going, keep it from shooting out on you or rocking or rolling around. It's hard to tell, but you can see a fine line just behind that magnet. And what that is, let me touch it. is that's a raised, elevated part for the air tube to be centered going into the shot tube itself. Right here are 2 anchor points for the top side of the cap. And then we got our little abutment washer seal right here. So let's go ahead and get the carbon fiber shot tube installed. Just set it down in there, find its little hole. Locate the bottom notch on this abutment washer. Get it setted back down in. This can be kind of tedious, you know, trying to do all this in front of the camera with the camera in my face. But we'll get it one way or the other. Another thing you'll want to do whenever you separate this case is you're going to want to file around these little studs. And you'll also want to file the top down. You know, run a file straight across the top of them, the studs sticking up, because you want them to be lower than the thickness of this plastic here. And there we are with it. So let me run these screws in and get this Red Ryder reinstalled, all put back together, and we'll run some numbers on it. Here we are with the screws reinstalled and the carbon fiber shot tip put into place. And here's what we're going to be putting back into it: the carbon fiber shot tube, our modded BBfeeder assembly, our standard 3/32 inner diameter steel air tube, plunger head, washer, foam wiper, OEM spring installed on the plunger assembly. Even though I do offer these up on the eBay store, I never have tested these as an OEM standalone mod. So we're all going to learn something here today, and let it just stand as that. Now it's a pretty breezy day, a cloudy day, the sun's setting, but let me get zoomed in on this and we'll cycle some shots and let's see what our numbers are at. Hopefully the sun hasn't set too much to get some shots in on this Caldwell chronograph. I know they're kind of light sensitive, so I'm hoping this works. Hopefully we didn't wait till too late in the day for this. Well, you'll find out in my top header video, or one of them, we found out that this Red Ryder likes to set in at the 270 to 280s on as a bare stock unit. That's still over 20 foot per second gain. On average, 20 feet per second is a standalone mod it's going to look like. Unless it keeps deciding to climb as the break-in continues within the inner diameter of it. Y'all can run the math numbers on it. But yeah, it's looking like we're up in the 290s now. Almost 300. Well, she just keeps climbing, huh? Maybe things are getting seated in place. Who knows? I do know that, you know, whenever I make these carbon fiber barrels, I do crown them on each end. And since they fit inside this BBfeeder assembly, I also have to make that little hole that goes inside. for staying on that stud. It's a little breezy for some shots. But I'll get zoomed in on our other target out there. I know she's 100 foot out there. I don't really hold high hopes at this feet per second range on a 100 foot target, but we'll see what it can do. I'm going to go ahead and set my elevator on up to, I don't know, about 3/4 high. It's still going through that foam backing on there though. There's a dry fire. Another dry fire. Well, I don't think she's going to cut it for that 100 foot shot with a carbon fiber shot tube mod. But I'd say it could still do good on the closer shots. This is a 20 foot shot on the big water bottle. Now I've got that water bottle set up at about a 45 foot shot if I had to guess. It's up there on the corner of the fence next to the big old maple tree if you can't see it. Let's see if we can't get a shot in on it. Another dry fire, you believe that? Well, first shot with it. Let's go ahead and do it again. Alright, here's round 2 with that water bottle on the corner of the fence post, 45 foot shot. Make sure we got a BB in there this time. Let's see if we can do it with one shot. And here we are with our water bottle. I had a little bit of water in the bottom for an anchor, you know, with the little bit of breeze that we had to set on top of that rounded stud out there. There's a couple of small dings in it. I don't know if you can make them out or not, but none of them appeared to have broken the plastic. There ain't no water leaking out of it, so I'll just take it as that. And there you have it, guys. There's the carbon fiber shot tube as a standalone mod. It doesn't really appear that on closer targets, you know, the accuracy's been affected much. I mean, you could do the same thing with a standard Red Ryder shot tube, but the FPS did pick up on it. We saw, you know, anywhere between 20 to 30 feet per second on average. And it may break in further down the road, but since this was just a test run on it, I'm going to go ahead and take it back out and convert it all back to OEM. That's my intention with this one. I think since I went ahead and done my BBfeeder assembly that way, that's just going to make a good, this will make a good power plant for doing future mods that I can, you know, do test runs on. Be a good test gun. Well, I hope this video helped you out, and if you liked it, just go ahead and like and share and subscribe if that's what you feel like you're up to. And for those of you that forgetful like me, that notification bell. Until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.